everybody. This is Matt Faircloth, and welcome to the DeRosa Insiders Live program. Yes, that's right. You heard me right. You're not tuned into the wrong station. We have rebranded this thing to DeRosa Insiders Live because that's what it is, right? We're live, and you guys are on the inside look at DeRosa to get a good look at what DeRosa's up to. I'm going to bring on two of my teammates here that were at this team retreat and talk about what we did at our team retreat and maybe some insights on what people should do. So if you guys know this, my first guest here on the show, if you guys should check her out at T Talks Multifamily. Lots of posts on the DeRosa Insiders channel. 100% educator, all about teaching you guys how to run better real estate. And that is Tara Smiley. How are you, Tara?
Hey guys, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. And the other leg of today's show is going to be our marketing director, who you guys might recognize from, if you guys are some of our students, she's got office hours that teaches our students how to market themselves and how to become bigger, better awareness machines so that people can find you online. She helps DeRosa get found online. If you guys love the DeRosa website, this is the architect of the DeRosa website and many, many other things DeRosa's up to. And that is our friend Jessyka Lee, our marketing director. Jess, how are you today?
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me.
How you guys doing?
Whew. In recovery mode, man.
I was just gonna say, still kind of lagging, like
re-entry.
working, but lagging.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're in re-entry mode. Yeah, you got a hurricane heading your way, don't you? Or a tropical storm.
Something.
It's called like Invest 97, which to me it seems like a project, not a storm is headed your way, isn't it?
It's something DeRosa's taken on, I heard.
Right. I know. Doesn't it seem like an initiative? It's a tropical storm headed your way, and I don't know how the name Invest got into it, but it's called Invest 97.
That's
Am
right.
I pronouncing it right?
It's DeRosa's next project. So
I want no part of this. No, I'm saying no to this being a DeRosa project because I'm on the operations side, and you know what? I don't have time for this.
Yeah. So, yeah, a tropical storm is certainly not in line with transforming lives through real estate, causing relocations and evacuations through storms, right? That's not what we do. Yeah. I bet your awesome governor down there named that thing. But hey, okay. Listen, guys. Yeah, we're all in recovery mode because we just spent a long 3 days together down in Miami. And Tara, why don't you tell our listeners a bit about what just happened and what we just went through from a macroscopic perspective, and then we'll break it down a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, like at the end of the day, we're a fully remote team, right? So we've got Pennsylvania, we've got New Jersey, we've got Florida, we've got North Carolina, we have Minnesota, we've got California. I mean, like we literally span the nation. And while we may interact like this on a daily, the opportunity to get together and integrate in that manner is not, readily available to us. And, Jess and I, we work on a lot of things together in terms of projects, but we work on different sides and different components. And, and I'm that way with a lot of my teammates. So the opportunity for the entirety of our group to get together, to break bread, to kind of go over, large scale, this is a reminder of who we are, what we do, why we do it, and then be able to kind of collaborate on projects, collaborate on goals and kind of the future direction of here's where we are now, here's where we're going. And, kick back, get to share a couple stories, get to share like what's going on in each other's lives, and a few margaritas doesn't hurt either. So
it does not.
Right?
It does not.
Yeah.
So Jess, what was like one unexpected aha that you had in this getaway? Maybe it could be a personal relationship that you got to know someone at our company, whatever. Like what was, because that's one of the things you get from these events is getting to hang personally with people, as Tara was saying. Like what was one nugget that you got that you wanted to share from this retreat?
Yeah. So the first time I was in person with everybody was at Best Ever Conference. And that was a really cool experience, being able to put an actual face to a name. But we were in like pure work mode. We were running around, we were hustling.
It was scurry mode.
I was doing marketing stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this was the first opportunity to really genuinely we had one night where we just had a bonfire and we sat around the bonfire and listened to music and talked about our families. And I think one thing that continues to amaze me, but also delight me, is how vastly different every single person on our team is. Like, not just personality wise, but like their background, their family life, their job experience, their education, like start to finish, we just have like the strangest mix of like humans that you would probably never put together, but somehow we all are like the best fit for each other.
Yeah.
And I just continue to love that. I continue to be surprised by, you know, our differences and how much those bring us together. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why it's important to not just go and work with your coworkers, right? And you don't have to be, guys, the DeRosa colleagues, like we're family, right? And that's just what we've created as a company culture. That said, it's still important as a company to go and enjoy each other. You don't have to build a family per se like we do. If you want to keep it a little more highbrow and professional in your business that you guys are creating together, that's fine. What it's important to do, as Jess was saying, it's important to go and enjoy each other in a one-on-one basis and maybe go do some team building, have a little bit of fun or whatever, right? You know, we went and like some fun stuff we did. We went and played golf at Top Golf. Jess and I did not do as well as some other team members that we
I
have.
beat you. I don't say
Yeah,
Jess and
I believe you did.
Okay, I think
Yeah,
it was
everybody
mostly
beat me.
just you. Like
My 10-year-old could have beat me. Yeah, I used to play a lot of golf. I'm now awful at golf. But we did that and razzed each other and talked a little bit of trash and did a little bit of fun, healthy competition in that. So and that's fun. We also just went and enjoyed a boat, like as Miami. Why not go on a boat, right? So we rented a boat and went and hung out and rode jet skis and whatnot and did all that. And you guys will see that in a little video reel we have for you guys in a second here. But like, why? So Tara, why do you need to do, like, why can't we just go and bust out a whiteboard and plan out the next 100 years? Like, why is it important for us to go and ride a boat and ride jet skis and like, you know, go to Top Golf? I mean, of course, those things are awesome as well to do, but like, why is it necessary for those building businesses to do those kinds of like off the work schedule things with their colleagues?
So I think it comes back to something that you just said, and I'm going to pull a page from Jess. So you're talking about people that are building businesses, right? So it's a growth mindset.
Yeah.
One of the things that Jess has said, honestly, Jess, I think you said this like your second week with DeRosa, and it has stuck with me, is that as a company, you know, we're a relatively small company. You know, there were 9 of us on this retreat, and Jess is very quick to point out that, you know, we've got effectively 9 different experts in very different frames and fields, right? You know, so Jess is all marketing all day long, and she is hella good. I got nothing. I got nothing in marketing. It's just not where my brain's at, right? So you've got 9 experts in a field that it could be in some companies an ego competition to bring them together and get them to collaborate. One of the things that I think that helps us is that we just don't have the ego. If there's an ego that exists in DeRosa, it's our collective, right? Because we kind of run with the theory that there's nothing we can't do. I think why it's so important is because I can take a look at somebody's resume and I can hire them for the things that are on the piece of paper. However, if I'm in a growth mindset, as I think a lot of people that are building businesses are, you're hiring somebody for what they're capable of giving you right now. And you and that person need to be looking for what that person grows into and what they help you build. And so I think when you get into a little bit more of a relaxed setting and you can explore different aspects of people's personalities and some of their behind the scenes skill traits that you may not be aware of, that really expands the options that are in front of you. You know, so our underwriter, turns out not only is he a master, culinary knowledge base, but he knows something about, I think, damn near every market in the United States.
Yeah.
And hotels, right? And so as you learn these things, because it may not have been on a resume, as you learn those things, now the opportunities that open for a business to be able to take that individual's singular skill that you knew about and just boom it out wide open. I mean, the opportunities are endless. And I think you get that when you are able to drop a little bit of formality and really kind of learn and explore about each other. And so I think that aspect is crucial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he also knows a lot about music. He knows a lot about food, and for a man that doesn't eat meat, he even can recommend. Like he recommended some phenomenal restaurants for us to go to and everything like that. Took very good care of me because I've got some food allergies and everything like that. Made sure I was covered. Jess is a vegan. Made sure she was covered and all that. So you get to know on retreats like that. For example, not to keep picking on Haith, but on retreats like that, you get to know dynamics of people that there's no way you're going to see in a one-on-one environment. Even for a company like us that works remote, even if we were face-to-face with Haith, if we just worked with him, every day from Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, maybe you get like a little chat, find out what he's watching on Netflix and everything like that at work. But spending elongated periods of time with people, you really get a chance to see who they are. I think that it makes you want to collaborate and work with them a little bit further. In addition to that, even at a company at DeRosa where there's 12 of us, including our overseas team, right, in the core of DeRosa. And then we have a property management team that's got, in the range of what, Tara, like another 30 to 40 more team members that are running our apartment building assets. But the core team of DeRosa is around a dozen people. At that size as well, you don't have overlap for certain people. Like Jess, there are people at DeRosa that you don't interact with very often. And in that, what was it like, getting to hang out and spend some time with people that you might have had maybe a half dozen conversations with one-on-one in your entire time with the company, but then you get to spend days with these folks?
Yeah.
How'd that go for you?
It was really cool. Like there was one person who works very closely with Tara, and Tara and I, we talk a little bit offline, but we don't do a ton of work together, like on a lot of different projects. But there's one person in particular that I literally was like, but what do you do for the company? like I know sort of like what your job title is and like what meetings you're in and like, but like what do you, like it was down to the point that like, I was like not even totally clear on what this person contributed on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, getting to know new personalities, getting to know again, like how Tara pointed out, everybody is truly an expert in their industry, and learning how this particular person who's an expert in an area I wasn't completely certain in, turns out we have the exact same sort of personality traits. And I was like, who knew?
That?
Like I would never have discovered that. So that was pretty cool too. And like, kind of piggybacking off what Tara said about why it's important to do things like this and get to know each other in these ways. It's more than that too. I think having a break from work and being around your teammates and like have it all be hosted by the people who own and operate the company, it really shows how much they value us as their team. And I think that goes a really long way too. So in terms of the why this is so valuable, like from the outsider looking in, well, obviously I was part of it, but from somebody who didn't pay for it, I will say it made me feel like a very, very valued and respected member of this team. So that's a huge why.
Right.
I think it's easier, Matt, instead of saying like, why do this? I'd pivot the question to like, why not do it?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, let's unpack that for a second, right? Because this is what happens if you don't do these kinds of things, right? Most small businesses are remote these days. I'd love to hear a percentage. Nabiku, my ghost in the machine, do me a favor and Google it. Let's find out what percentage of businesses that are less than 20 employees in the U.S. are remote, do not have a physical office. I'll bet you it's a reasonable number, right? It's I'm sure in the double digits. My bet is more than 30%. All right. So if that's what you're building as an entrepreneur, right, the necessity of having face-to-face with people, like that, people are going to lose touch. We are, as humans, we need to be physical with physically, like face-to-face with people to get to know them, get to know facial expressions. That's why it's good to, like, I hate going on a Zoom call and I can't see the person. They don't want to have their camera on. I think you're missing some of the connection there, but that's still not as good as going to a face-to-face team retreat with someone and really, talking through relationships and whatnot. It creates loyalty to the company, to the brand. You rely on your people that they're going to be there for you as you continue to grow and build. right? And also it makes your folks feel valued because they see the company making money and they want to make sure that they know that the company knows that they're a part of that, right? And this is a great way to say thank you, right? What a great way to say thank you to your team than to have a cool getaway that you as the owner of the company pay for, right? So as from an owner's seat, that's why it's important to do for people to see value and to build relationships. And they just, it's the likelihood of them not, sticking around for as long is less. One more thing, it is extremely easy on a remote team to have misunderstandings, right? Because as you all know, it's one thing to talk out, like if you got some shit with one of your coworkers or whatever, you can do it. Talk it out face to face over a Zoom call, but it's so much better to have a face to face and build deeper relationships so that breakdowns happen less because you got more deposits in the relationship bank, so to speak. And two, that if there is a misunderstanding, you can get talked out in person. And I can promise you, misunderstandings get talked out way better face to face than they do on a Zoom call or not at all, right? So little misunderstandings that are this big, I've seen turn into big misunderstandings but they always start at a little small seed and they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Your thoughts on that, Tara and Jess? Anything you want to add?
Jess, I think I'm going to speak for both of us. Yeah. So Jess and I, personality wise, are both head on people.
Yeah.
Right. Like Jess, super direct. I'm super direct. And so that's our preference, right? But we also know, like, when you have a scheduled meetings come with scheduled criteria. And, like, here's the curriculum for the meeting and here's our list of things that we're going to accomplish. And sometimes that super directness doesn't have a time or place. And so when you're able to be in person and there's no, trying to translate somebody's raised eyebrow on a call and, is it because they got a twitch or because they've got a thought, which one is it? You can suss that out in person. And not only can you squash any of those items that may or may not exist, but at the same time, you are then integrating and you are collaborating and you're starting conversations and you're leaving that door open. And at the end of the day, you have created a stronger bond. You may not have created best friends, and that's totally okay too, right? Some people are going to naturally gravitate to, one person over another, but you've created a bond and a channel of communication. So it just helps solidify that team.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's funny. We have one team member that on Zoom calls, I joke, with this person a bit because I can't tell if this person's pissed or if they're thinking, right? Straight up. And it could be one of the two. And it's been both. It's been one or the other, both, at times. But it's like, hey man, you mad? Or are you just on? Like, no, I'm just thinking. Like, okay, cool, I got it. Right? Yeah. Because not everybody is direct like us. Because I'd rather talk it out as well. But not everybody does that. Sometimes people need time to think or whatever it is. Yeah. And so getting people together and having this is a transition point. Having a group that has diverse personalities is very important. I've seen entrepreneurs build companies with a bunch of people that are exactly like them. And I can tell you that's a red hot mess waiting to happen, right? Yeah. People that are alike actually don't get along as well, right? Can you imagine like a room full of people just like me?
No.
God bless.
No.
I'd have to take a nap. I'd wear myself out, like good Lord. So at the end of the day, or even like all people that are all like you, Tara, or people that are all
there'd be blood. No, I mean, that's how that day ends.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd choke me out, like shut up. Good Lord, all your ideas,
The complexity of the of the variance between personalities, I think, is super helpful. I also think, again, to me, it goes back to that growth mindset. So like the person I work most closely with is Adam. Adam is logistics and planning all day long. My personality is like, I'm going to go try this and see what happens. Right. And Adam's like, well, let's do it this way. And so very, very different mindset, very different approach, very different kind of gut reaction to things. I've got my knowledge base. Adam's got his. You combine those two, it's unstoppable. And I think, those differences are what create the strong teams.
Yeah.
And I think in fairness, and I know Justin and Hervé aren't on here too, but we talked a lot about, the difference in the personalities, in the three heads of DeRosa. For me, I call you guys the Trinity. And the strength from DeRosa, from leadership top down, I think is derived by that variance between the three of you.
It is.
Separately, you're pretty good, pretty fairly decent individually,
Yeah.
Collectively, all out in a bag of chips.
Yeah. Well, that's what we kind of have each other's six, and we've learned how to do that and how to like watch each other's back. And that I know that there are things that I need to do as a co-owner of the company with Justin and Hervé. And like, for example, Hervé is a great expediter, get it done, no BS, slightly short fuse, and you need somebody a little bit like, what's going on here? Why is this going so slow? Right. As not everybody is as impatient as he is. And so he knows through a lot of conversations I've had with him that impatience is actually of value to us, because I'm way more patient and Justin is extremely patient. Right. And so that is just an example of what the three of us bring to the table, and that there are ways that we know we have to look out for each other as well. Right. And when we're all hitting on all cylinders, it's because we've got each other's back. We know that Justin needs Matt to push on this angle and Hervé needs Matt to push in this way, or whatever it is. And we bring all of our skill sets to the table, which the bottom line here is, if you guys watching are building companies, it doesn't matter which one you use. I know my wife's ears are probably burning right now, or she's probably screaming, but she highly recommends a product called the Predictive Index, which she sold for many years. It doesn't matter which personality assessment you use, so don't tell her I said that, because she loves that one. Just use something to evaluate your team, right? We have a product called the DeRosa Superpower Assessment. Start there. That's free, right? So, Nabik, please drop the link to the Superpower Assessment here. Figure out which skill you bring to real estate investing. If you haven't taken it now, it takes you all 5-10 minutes to take that superpower assessment. And that assessment's designed to tell you what your core strength is. For goodness sake, don't build a team with 3 underwriters, because you guys would be able to figure your way out of a paper bag. Like you would just sit and discuss the plan, and let's discuss the plan again, and let's also reevaluate and discuss the plan, and that you guys would have the best plan ever with no action behind it. Is what a bunch of underwriters would do. No offense if you guys are an underwriter. I'm not saying there's a problem with that, because you need a good plan, but then you also need the other 3 to make these things come to fruition.
Yes.
Right. And that was great at our company retreat, to go over each other's personalities and everything like that. And just
you learn how, what people's strengths are. You learn what people are really, really good at, that it may or may not be a core component of the job that they're in right now. You also learn how they perceive themselves, right? Which may or may not be in competition with how you perceive them. And so it's treat any kind of personality assessment, or just that kind of assessment in general, not as like a got you moment, like, oh, I need to figure out what this person sucks at, because that's not the point of it. It's to figure out, this is where this person's natural skill set is. This is where this person wants to develop a skill set too, right? And then learn how to maximize that on both an individual and a collective level.
Guys, our team shot a lot of content while we were there. I'm hoping, I haven't seen this, so I'm sure it's going to be amazing. We're going to just give some commentary over top of this reel. Our man Nabiku and his phenomenal content creation team have taken a lot of the content that we shot at the retreat, and just we've got a little fun little reel to throw here with you guys. So be prepared to have some laughs, and we'll be your navigators here over the top. So Nabik, let's go ahead and show that with the 3 of us staying online, so we can just kind of throw some thoughts at us for what people are seeing here. All right, fire pit, pool to sit and solve some problems. Oh my God, that pool.
It was like 100 degrees.
Giant pool.
All right, for those of you watching, we thought the pool was just hot because it was in Miami. Turns out it was heated the entire time.
And we didn't know.
Well, it was rough.
Oh, the best friend bracelets. There's a great story behind that one.
I love it.
Best friends forever.
Oh, Justin with a balancing act with his iced tea. It's iced tea.
Unknown skill set. Who knew?
Guys, volunteer project. We'll talk more about that offline, but we did a great volunteer project for a local military museum. important. It's important to add value, do volunteer work together. That's part of your core mission as a company.
We did have some company Olympics.
Yeah.
So, we got to learn people's pool skill sets as well.
Pool skills.
We did have
watermelon. Justin was not aware there was a watermelon in his bag.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Oh, wow. Oh, they did a blossom.
Yeah, our fireside chat. That was so much fun.
Yeah. A little boating. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not in the Miami Harbor.
So sweet.
No alligators.
No gators.
The thing I want to highlight is that, like, if the people that are watching look at these three faces right now. So, granted, some of those photos are like, oh God, I forgot that one got taken, right? However, all three of us watching this, genuine smiles, because, even though we got back Wednesday, today's Friday, I'm already missing that.
Yeah.
Like, we did work.
Yeah.
We did a service project. We had a meeting, a business meeting that went 2.5 hours longer than we had kind of projected it to go.
Mm-hmm.
It was like an all-day work day. Yeah.
And I think the important point, for Jess is that it was scheduled to be like 4 hours. It wasn't all day, and it was driven not by the agenda of the Trinity. It was driven by us because we had things that we wanted to talk about. And so everybody walked away from that feeling really good.
Yeah.
We just got done watching that video, and you've got 3 genuine smiles because like, oh, I forgot about that. And
So
that
fun.
one was hella funny, and you walk away with that sensation, and that's not a short-lived vibe. That'll carry us through to the next one.
Yeah.
And you come back wanting more. And I think at the end of the day, if you have partners, you have employees, that's what you want out of that group. You want them chasing that because they're looking forward to the next one and the next opportunity and the next time to enjoy time with you and your whole group. So
a lot of great memories, inside jokes, including a watermelon in a backpack. Yeah. And it was funny. There's you guys saw that. I'm like, okay, I got to tell a brief story about the watermelon in the backpack. Just Tara and I realized at this retreat that we are both, 40-ish year olds with.
Matt, you're not supposed to tell people this.
You're 29. I know.
Right. 29 people.
29-year-old, a 29-year-old and a 40 year old that are actually 10-year-olds, and inside a full grown up body, right?
So we let our inner children out to run amok.
We did.
Muck.
There's this watermelon, and we're like, man, I want to bring this watermelon, which is a terrible idea to bring on a boat, right? That's bumping around like this. Let's bring an uncut watermelon that needs to get cut on the boat. We're like, oh, totally, it's a great idea. It's going to be hot.
What could go wrong?
Right.
Yeah. Right, terrible. There's so many things that could go wrong, right? Aside from like just basic stuff, like what if nobody eats it? Then you got to bring a freaking cut watermelon back in what container are you gonna do that in, right?
Details.
Yeah, just illogical starting, right? But then further, it was really heavy. So Jared like, damn, water. I don't want to carry all this around. And we looked and we saw Justin's backpack sitting there, and we're like, oh. And I just gave it. We didn't even have to talk about it. Tara and I just gave each other a look, and we're like, this is going in Justin's backpack without him knowing about it. Right. It was just such a great moment that we just both like are giggling like little kids to put this watermelon in Justin's backpack. And we had to set it up just so, and he wasn't aware of it. So the idea was him to go pick up his backpack and realize it's now probably 20 pounds heavier than it should be. Right. And so just Tara and I were pretending to have our conversation, pretending to just chill there at the table and enjoy. And I'm like, I got my empty cup of coffee sitting here and I'm pretending to still drink it. Right. Just for show. I'm like,
just waiting.
Yeah. It's empty.
And he made us wait for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He's late and he's roaming around. And I was so close saying, hey, Justin, where's your backpack? Where's your, cause he's like, what? He almost walks out the door and almost forgot it. I'm like, oh no, you can't. But then I look, it's too obvious if I remind him about it, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to pick it up, and Tara and I just literally busted out laughing like it was the best prank ever. Totally corny.
Straight up small children. Yep.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Loved every minute of it.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
He was very
Yeah.
confused.
Next time to
He
be
was
cool.
like,
Next
there's
time.
just sunscreen and a towel in here. Why is it 90
Right.
pounds? I'm so
Yeah.
confused.
Right. Well, but it's little inside jokes like that happen, guys. So the bottom line, to bring it home for everybody here, for our listeners and our watchers, right? At the end of the day, guys, you got to do team retreats, even if it is, and let's give like one bit of advice for maybe a single solopreneur operator, right? The advice I would have is get really clear as soon as you can what skills and talents you're bringing to the table. Take our superpower assessment, take another assessment, become, know thyself, right? Become very, very clear about what you bring and your core geniuses to your business. And that will tell you very quickly who you'll need to align yourself with as an employee, a partner, or whatever it is, to bolt onto your team so that they can do things that you are not great at. And then once you've got that, then you've got a team you can start doing team buildings on. But if you don't do that, you're going to be, they said the chief CEO and bottle washer, and it's a fun joke, but no company is going to be successful with one person trying to do all the stuff. It is the only way you're going to get successful is by diversifying, bringing on people that are not you, and they're great at things that you're not. That's my advice. Tara, Jess, jump in. For our listeners here, how can they build great teams and have an amazing team like DeRosa moving forward for themselves?
I think making sure that you have an agenda in terms of like what you want goals wise for the company, how you can implement growth, how you can implement, better team bonding, but also allowing and creating space for the team to be part of that. Whether that's the team coming up with some, like do some trust falls, like do some, like something that like genuinely does build team building. I think there does have to be that balance of, hey, we're here to get some stuff done and, create a vision together, create a plan together, but also put watermelons in each other's backpacks, and like have that balance, but also like, again, allowing for your team to have a voice, not just in the planning process in terms of like how to make it fun, but while they're there and create, like a lot of people talk about open door policy, right? Like what better space to have an open door policy and talk about some real things than face-to-face and in person. So that would be my feedback.
Love it. Tara, what you got?
I think for me, it's as simple as, we talked a little bit about this at our retreat. What is it that you want? And what are you doing to get there, right? And making sure that those two things are in alignment. And, to piggyback off of Jess, you get that from having that open dialogue. You get that because, Matt, you say something which sparks a thought for me, which I'm going to bring up to the group, which then sparks something for Jess. And so you feed off of that group collaboration and you take the initial building blocks and you just start stacking them in a way that directs you down the path towards your goal. And I think you only get that when you have the ability for people to build off of each other's natural skill sets.
Absolutely.
I think that's brilliant, guys. So here, there's yet another just great insights. If you guys watching here, make sure you leave comments in whatever feed you're watching it on. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I hope this show here gave our listeners here some inspiration so they can build something that's built upon what their core values and their mission statements are. That's designed to go in a certain direction, as we are, but without a aligned team around what you got, around where you want to go. You're standing on nothing and you ain't gonna go nowhere, right? So you could have the best, most flowery mission statement and the absolute most inspiring goals ever, but without people willing to lock arms with you and walk that road, you might as well just stay home, right? So that's what we got, guys. That's so Tara, thank you. Be sure you guys make sure to check Tara out at T Talks Multifamily on her Instagram channel and also on the DeRosa Instagram feed. Tara is constantly contributing content to that channel. Just designed to help you guys become bigger, badder operators, whether you're a property management company or an asset manager. Check out T Talks Multifamily to hear more about, how to do that yourself.
All the good stuff. That's right.
What?
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. And Jess, thank you as well for joining us and being the creative muse, the inspirer of all things good and creative here at DeRosa, getting in that. So good being with you guys. Hopefully I have you guys back on again soon on the DeRosa Insiders
Cool.
Live.
That's
All right,
right.
cool. Yeah,
Gotcha.
put $1 in the square jar. All right. All
Thanks,
right. See you
guys.
guys.